In modern Western society, we have this idea that gender is a little bit like a light switch, that you are male or female. The truth and science and the world is a little bit more complicated than that.
Oh my God, Bournemouth are 12. Bournemouth.
Did you have a colour?
Exactly.
When you're a kid and you're growing up, you try out lots of ideas and how you feel about lots of things. And I tried to say to him, that's okay, but I have to say it took a long while before we really sort of took it seriously. All of a sudden when I had to think about a future without a daughter in it, and you know, I'd got all this stuff in my head that I didn't really know was there, and I was really gobsmacked by how much of that unconscious bias I'd got.
Nice one. Clean.
That's what this is for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm Leo, I'm 14. Go to Bidnam Upper School. I just wanted to have the things that society thought would make me a boy. In my school, I'm pretty sure I'm the only trans person. The things they were calling me didn't feel like me. It felt like they were calling someone else's name and I had to answer to it. After I expressed that some of the things they were doing could be handled better, they had like this training to deal with students like me and students, you know, that didn't fit binary genders and everything. And I think that was a really good positive change they made.
Go on, girls, get a move on. Quickly. Oh, Leo, you're late. Yeah, wiggle on. What do you think of Bidnam? You love Bidnam, do you? Yeah, that's great, that's great.
If you're in a school that promotes tolerance and respect as baseline principles, that element means that there is an acceptance. We do need to have training so that we don't fear some of the student responses.
Because there's a lot about SEND, special needs, or EAL, English Additional Language kids, but there still isn't something about inclusivity and LGBTQ+.
My name is CJ Atkinson. I'm a writer and a trans activist. My pronouns are they, their and them. I think the biggest difficulty that the world is suffering from when it comes to gender at the moment is just this lack of understanding. There are going to be large groups of people in the country who've never met a trans person, who don't know a trans person. And so trans then just becomes this idea. And the thing about an idea is that it's powerful, but it can be really scary. And so trans people get made into the boogeyman, in the same way that 30, 40 years ago, gay men were the boogeyman. And that we've had it where black people are the boogeyman, and immigrants are the boogeyman, and feminists are the boogeyman. Like, we're in this situation where an idea of something is so much more terrifying than the reality of an actual human being standing in front of you.
I'm Susie Green, I'm CEO of Mermaids. I've been involved with the charity for over 18 years. I made a phone call a long time ago when my 6-year-old asked me when she could have an operation to make her into a girl. I saw firsthand my daughter had 7 suicide attempts over the course of 3 years when she went into secondary school and was annihilated. I don't want that to be happening to other young people, and I don't want any other parent to be like I was for 3 years on suicide watch, constantly thinking that the next phone call is going to be the one where they tell me that she's managed to kill herself.
Good boy, let's go toy box.
There's a lot to take in, there's a lot that people don't know about what it means to be transgender, and I think you can get through it, it's doable, and it's okay to ask things, it's okay to ask for help, it's okay to ask questions. If you understand people more, then you can be more supportive. The school are really good at that.
One of the dangers with the education system is that schools become totally focused on exams and we become exam factories. The reality of schools is that they've got to be much more than that. They've got to be much more in the opportunities they provide for young people to learn about the world, to learn about difference.
There's not a wide number of children that have peanut allergies, but peanuts aren't allowed in schools because it can kill a kid. So if you don't have peanuts in school because there's the possibility that one child could die from it, I don't understand why you wouldn't talk about these sorts of things so that 1 child, 2 children, 3 children don't suffer unnecessarily later on.
there isn't that much that teachers have to change to support trans kids at school. Kids are extremely open-minded and accepting, and if they grow up with these ideas that gender can be a spectrum and that some people, you know, are trans like me, then that would be great, because then there won't be such a massive issue and there won't be so much hate towards certain people and how certain people identify.
The thing that we experience time and again when you introduce children to complicated ideas in a really simple way is that kids get it. It's actually adults that are just having a harder time sort of catching up.
I think language is going to continue to evolve and gender is going to continue to evolve. And you can turn your nose up at it as much as you like, but it's going to happen. And I think it should.
If we continue to educate younger people to be open-minded, then it's a lot easier to deal with this later down the line. They are tiny little sponges, but that's not always a bad thing.
I think more than ever, kids are more accepting of diversity in a whole range of things. They're much more open-minded and than perhaps a lot of people give them credit for, and I think for me and for us, it's perhaps been the older people have got, the more difficult they've found it to accept.
No matter what people, you know, pick on you about or say to you, or, you know, whatever, whenever someone misgenders you or misgenders you or anything, it will be okay, because when you're older, you'll be the happiest like you've ever been. And yeah, I'd just say, try not to get yourself down as much as you used to, basically.